about this before, but again, just kind of based upon my reporting, it sounds like the border adjustment tax is just not going to be in the Freedom Caucus plan.
Well, it's not. And I can tell you, we can debate the merits of the border adjustment tax, but what we can't debate is there's not consensus. So that is a finite thing that has been decided. So let's move on and figure out how do we make tax reform work without it.
So it's not going to be in the Freedom Caucus plan, but it is a source, according to supporters of it, of $1 trillion worth of revenue over a decade. So how do you make up for that money?
Well, it's a great question. I think what you do is the full and immediate. You look at maybe doing accelerated depreciation, but not full and immediate, because that will lower that cost down by about half. And then the other is we're looking at welfare reform. Able-bodied adults need to work in order to get those things without dependent children. And so that's about a $400+ billion revenue. So those should offset. Those two things, combined with getting rid of the border adjustment, should balance it out. But if not, we look at letting them expire in year 9, where we don't run into some of those revenue neutral issues.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those revenue neutral issues. Because when I interviewed Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell the other week, he said that it has to be revenue neutral, any type of tax plan. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree?
Well, I mean, from a budget standpoint, he may be technically right because of the tactic that we're using. It has to be budget neutral. But from a standpoint, when you talk about revenue neutral, all you're doing is taking one tax burden and moving it over to something else. We need to stimulate the economy. That's not something that we have been critically emphasizing, but I think that we need to do that. So if you allow them to expire in year 9, it still meets Leader McConnell's objective and hopefully gets the economy growing at a 3% GDP.
So when you